Well, it's Wednesday night in Middle America.
Yes, it is.
How is everybody doing this week?
I don't know, man. It's been a wild week. A lot of time on the internet.
It's been a
probably too
wild
much time
week,
on the
hasn't
internet.
Yeah.
Ben and I were just talking before the show, about the game this weekend, and he went, and he said, "Well, you know what, Ben, you're sitting right here, so
You want me to tell it?
yeah, you tell it, you tell it."
So, Dad and I have we've had season tickets for years to UT games, the real UT, not Texas, Tennessee Vols. And that was their loss to Georgia this weekend was filled with so many ups and downs. I mean, just the closest we've been in years, and have all the confidence in the world in our kicker. Still do. Just pushed it. 40-yarder, so it wasn't really that to them. That really that long of a field goal. Man, it's just heartbreaking.
I haven't watched a full game in I don't know how long.
Really, you know what? Your health is probably better for it.
No, because I fill that time with other social media.
Oh,
Oh yeah, probably worse.
Politics,
actually.
culture, all that stuff. Yeah, this week in politics and culture, Tristan says go dogs.
Oh yeah.
gosh, that's
Hey,
terrible.
Tristan. Speaking of which, I
Man.
know she would like to meet up before the show,
yeah.
so that I can get a dog's shirt for you to wear because you thought Tristan was something. That
Well, I did, and that's
and so
that's reasonable. There are a lot worse shirts I could put on. I'll just say that.
that's true. You can wear an Iowa shirt. Hello, hello. So, speaking of, I had good friends growing up in Iowa that played, and one of their sons was invited to this game
Mm-hmm.
because they want him to play.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, their view.
Oh yeah, it was great, but you lost. So I don't know what kind of selling card that is. I don't know what that does for the volunteer stock when it's like, hey, come check out these games. They said the atmosphere was incredible.
And that's what sells them.
Yeah, well, I could see that. Yeah,
Hey, I just realized.
You can't hear?
No.
Can you hear right now?
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. It was muffled. Yeah.
Well, it was set for Dr. Briscoe, and apparently he's got
Sensitive ears.
very sensitive ears. I had to crank it all the way down to zero.
He
I
can,
love it.
It's crazy. He can hear a gnat drop from 100 yards away. It's amazing. He was going to be in on tonight. I think we'll try to get him next week, but we got a heavy show tonight again.
Yep.
Not as heavy as last week. Not nearly as heavy as last week. We've seen the outcry, first of all, of people who lose their jobs for celebrating,
Rightly so.
and rightly so. Correct. Rightly so. I think if you're going to go on the internet, and this is the thing, are we that stupid?
I mean, yeah, exactly.
That I tell the kids, and you're like, listen, it's not going away if you put it on there.
No.
Yeah.
You can ruin yourself real easy by posting something that you wish you hadn't have, and you can take it down, but somebody's got it.
Yeah, and it's the free speech versus speech has consequences.
Yeah.
It's not the government's not coming after you to stop your speech. Nobody's saying censor them. In fact, a lot of people on the conservative side are saying that's fine, let them do it. And they're spreading, hundreds of thousands or millions of views, and then people are calling up businesses to let them know, hey, did you realize that the manager of your store posted this horrible content online? And yeah, it's nobody's saying you can't do it, but there are consequences to it.
It's natural consequences.
Yeah, it
in a
is.
sense, right? If you're gonna say to over half of America, well over half of America, that you think this is great when they're in mourning, you're probably gonna have you're probably gonna have a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
We have lost the art of knowing when to speak and knowing when to be silent.
Oh, yeah.
We really have as a society. It's like, because you have a platform, you say stuff, and I'm included. We have this platform, and there are times we say stuff, and I get the look from Jared like, I can't I can't believe you just said that.
I can't believe
And so, but there's a time to be quiet. Just be quiet. Just be
Yeah,
quiet.
and but I think it all boils down to, they test stuff out. Let's see if I can go this far. Oh, nothing happened to me. Okay, cool. I'll go a little bit further. and a little bit further. And now they've gone so far
Yeah.
that they,
Well, I will tell you too, the platform that is bringing most of that to the front is X. And it used to be that it was Facebook, you had, Instagram, all those are very left-wing platforms. X, while it's got a large amount of filth inside of it, it's also a place where you can say just about anything.
Yep.
And when people on the left who have invaded, they tried it with Blue Sky. And if you see Blue Sky, look, the post, go to X and say Blue Sky post Charlie Kirk. And you will see some of the most vile, repulsive things you've ever heard in your life and seen and read in your life. And that's what the entire platform is filled with. So they said, we want something that's just for the left. And when they did, it filled with just rancid content. And there's plenty of it on X, but it goes...
What's it called? Blue Sky?
Blue Sky. So it's the left's answer to X. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know where not to go. I mean, but is that, you would think, though, Blue Sky would be if it's a liberal platform, it would be much more loving and accepting. Aren't they the...
Au contraire.
No, I am shocked by that.
it is,
I am totally shocked by that.
I mean,
they are the party of tolerance. Just ask them.
I mean, I don't know why they would ever say anything like that.
Yeah. So I think that's an art that needs to be retaught.
Yeah.
The art of silence.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was it Socrates or who was it that said, I've often regretted my speech, but never my silence?
It might have been Ron.
I don't know.
Was that Ron Burgundy?
It might have been Ron Burgundy. It might have been,
but it's true. Nobody thinks before they speak anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I said that on my live stream yesterday, that for every video that I've made over on Continue Freedom, go subscribe to Continue Freedom.
Yes.
By the way,
Yes,
I got to give that shameless plug every now and then.
Continued freedom.
But I say that I really, for every video I've recorded, there's others that I say, no, it's the same way I did one on Nick Fuentes. And I took it down because I said, this is ad hominem. That's not the right way I want to go after this. And it's out. Once it's out there forever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Forever and ever.
Well, we're ad hominem, though.
Yeah, we try to stay away from ad hominem.
I will say, ask Jimmy Kimmel how speaking out
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Or not speaking out, doing it the way that the left is doing it.
Now, let me ask you this, though, because Jared, you absolutely hit it on the head. You can say whatever you want to say.
You can.
And
Doesn't mean there's not consequences.
right, but the consequences, in my mind, I sit back and go, okay, the consequences should never come from the government. They shouldn't come from, truthfully, like Jimmy Kimmel shouldn't be shut down.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't. But they can't afford to keep him on.
Right.
Right.
So what happened to Colbert is what will happen to Jimmy Kimmel because of things like this. It's a natural thing. But for them to, I feel like this is a knee-jerk reaction. Like they go, oh, you can't say that. And so we're gonna just suspend everything. It's like, no, let him keep going. He's gonna drown himself at this point. Unless he comes out and says, hey, what I said was really wrong. And my heart goes out to Charlie Kirk's family. My heart, unless he eats crow, which they won't do because they're so full of themselves, right?
Yeah.
That, let it happen on its own.
Sure.
Because right now there's a chance he's going to come back. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But if he stays at it, he's dead in the water.
Yeah.
Did I just say he's unalived in the water?
Yeah.
Okay? Like let him do this to himself. You give him enough rope. This is what happens. And we're not a stupid, well, I shouldn't say that. We're a flavor of the weak society.
Well, it's true because, Bill Maher's been on.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I don't know why I said
It's
Maher.
okay.
Bill Maher's been on for how many years? And it's like, the stuff he's just like, oh my gosh.
But he is the least of, he's a voice that listens. Like he has always been.
He does. He actually has people on.
Yeah. And
At
even
least that.
and he'll treat him like an idiot. He'll call
will.
him names, all that stuff. But he is at least somebody who sits back and goes, this is, and he said, this is insanity.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he had remarks about Charlie and they were all good.
Yep.
Because what?
He had Charlie on.
He's human
Yeah.
and humans deserve that. So yeah, ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel Live. indefinitely after the host's Charlie Kirk commentary.
Man, that's wild.
And the comment that got him canned was, it says on Monday, Kimmel said that the, quote, MAGA gang was, quote, desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Yep.
I could play the video, but...
Yeah, because that's what it's again, people will hear that and parrot that and believe that this guy was totally in the bag with MAGA. Again, and look at how many of these, I mean, every school shooting, everything is a white supremacist MAGA. You know,
And I don't even know where they come off. I don't know where they get this stuff. Or I don't guess they get it from anywhere. I guess it's just made up lies. But like, everything points to, and it's been reported, his family was conservative, started kind of getting more conservative when Trump came in. And this dude pulled away from it. He was starting to study more of the leftist stuff. He lived with, and I don't even know the correct term. He lived with a
It's a transgender woman.
Okay.
It's a man pretending to be a woman.
Okay.
And a furry.
Say okay.
yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Right.
That's it.
Well, and you know, they like to blame, they say the parents. I watched this argument being made on a panel. It was an online panel. And the people on the left were saying, well, he was, because of his parents, you know, they say you want to blame the parents of transgender school shooters or whatever. It's the parents' fault. It's the parents' fault. Well, in this instance, it's the same, because you got to hold those parents accountable as well. Well, first off, this is an adult. This is a 22-year-old
That's
man,
right. He
young
was
man.
an adult.
Yeah.
So that's point number one. Point number two is he deviated from what his parents taught him. His dad is a pastor and a sheriff. At no point are any of those things going to teach you violence as the ultimate answer to your life's problems. And in contrary to the left, who that is where it ultimately ends.
Yeah.
That these people are these people being Christian, particularly Christian conservatives, that they are fascists, they are Nazis, they are authoritarians, they are evil, they are racist, they are all of these things. So
Can you imagine? You know, I know we have kids. In the arguments that happen at the dinner table and all that stuff. Could you imagine that house when he went away to school and started getting into the things
Oh man.
mom and dad were not for?
Yeah.
And just watching my heart goes out to those parents because they watched their son fall down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. And there's nothing you can do as a parent to help them. And the harder you push, the bigger the resistance.
And now your kid is possibly will not, depending on what they decide, possibly will just not be here.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I do believe that he will probably get the death penalty.
Yeah.
I also believe that there's a group of people that will fight
Oh, there's going to be.
to not allow that.
They
And those
raise how much money for people that do such terrible things.
Yeah, I'm talking about the very people that suffered most at the hands of this tragedy. I could see being the people to say, stay the execution. Don't kill him. I could see them going, hey,
Really?
hold on a minute.
You're talking about like Erika Kirk.
Yep. I'm
Really?
talking about Turning Point and those guys saying, you know what?
Why is that?
I think that there's merits for the death penalty. Absolutely. But I think there's a bigger merit to share the gospel, to preach the gospel, to get people saved. I mean, could you imagine? I've seen the pictures, like people post Charlie Kirk in one arm of Jesus and then his shooter in the other arm. And it's like, what if? Mm-hmm. Well, what if? Hope. It's not what if. It's hopefully. It's hopefully. This kid who, for a short season of his life, he's 22.
Yeah, 22.
For a short season of his life, went down a path that now it would appear as completely unredeemable, but that's not how Christ works.
Yeah.
So you're talking about giving him a chance to get saved in prison.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, even though I know there's a lot of people, I've listened to the arguments about is the death penalty, biblically solid, and Yeah, it is.
It is.
Right,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
right. And so it is. However, I still have, I don't know, I still have certain qualms about it because I've seen how many times it's been faulty, and it's not a lot, but it's best that what is it, 10 men or 100 men go free than one innocent man goes to prison.
Yeah.
I forget what the theory or the there's a thought process for that, but that's a proper justice system. The guilty people go, but absolutely no one who is innocent gets put away, because that's the greatest of all, miscarriages of justice, is for an innocent man to go to prison. So, I think we're in a time where we don't have to worry about the DNA not being, present, all the forensic evidence that we can collect.
Yeah.
We've got that pretty much on lockdown.
Yep.
So it's less of an issue now. But I still think that with a death penalty, and another opposition I have to it, is an authoritarian government can use the death penalty when they contort the laws in their favor, and it can go both ways. This is it's political execution is what it becomes. And not saying that's what this is. This is a clear-cut case of justice.
Absolutely.
But when you relinquish the ability or the authority of life and death to a government that could become corrupt, that can be used against the good and the bad in any conflict. And that's kind of where my brain goes with the whole thing. But
I think this will say a lot about the Christian community, I think, because there's so much, and we call it what it is. It's vitriol. We're angry. We're angry, but we're also, I hate to say this, but we're also just as guilty at the same time that we're angry, right? We all get that. Like I'm no different. I didn't pull a trigger, but I have stuff in my heart I need to deal with all the time. We all do.
Right. It's like what he did was sinful.
Awful. It's awful.
We also
but
do sinful things.
Yeah. And does he deserve hell for it? And there are Christians that be like, right, you do, hold on a minute. Because, the last time I checked, that's not how the kingdom operates. And so when we are the judge and jury on everything, I have a problem with that. And, there are people that have gone into that chamber, been put to death, who had given their lives to Christ, who had led other people to Christ in prison, and they still suffered their consequence. And they did it knowing where they would be. That's the prayer for this kid, is that if he gets the chair, he knows where he's going when it's over with.
Well, they actually has the opportunity for a firing squad. That's one option.
Really?
Yeah. So there's certain states, where they still do it. South Carolina just did it recently.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know those were still around.
That's a mess. No.
Whew.
I mean, that's not a guarantee.
Well, it depends on how many. I mean, if you got where. Okay, here's a question: where do they have a specific place where they aim?
I would imagine the head, right?
No, it's
I would think that
at the heart. Yeah. Okay. So they basically have a bullseye drawn on the person.
Wow.
And they put them all in black.
So you are a target.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be hard to be on that squad.
I forget how they. Yeah. Because I can't remember if they have actual people do it.
Is that like a jury selection or what is that?
If it's done AI.
No, but
it's I don't know. For me personally, I've thought a lot about this because he is gonna probably get the death penalty. He should. I mean, this is like he murdered somebody in cold blood, premeditated, knew what he was doing, and then you sit back and look at this kid's life and his lifestyle, his choices, and you go, this is why. This is just another, and people are going to be so mad about this. Jared's going to look at me funny. But this is just another great example of why the voting age needs to be 25 in this country or better.
Oh, I don't disagree with that.
Good.
Yeah.
Because if you're this easily dissuaded into something, you grow up one way and then you start, your roommate's a furry, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait.
Yeah,
what?
you need to go through. Well, you don't have to go through college, but if you do go through college, you need a few years to where you're out to live in the real world and to
fail.
Yeah.
on your own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Toughen up a little bit.
Yep.
You know? And,
It's actually a good idea. I like that.
but yeah, I just think that, that is one for sure that I go, I can't just. Now, we did have in that group, thanks to Charlie Kirk, there's a big conservative push in that younger age group that it's like they're getting it. The problem with that younger age group is they're very set on the trend and what's happening, right? So it seems like there's this wave of baptisms and everything on campuses, and Charlie Kirk's had a huge reach and is a big part of people coming to Jesus, which is amazing.
Yep.
But just as amazing as that was, if we rewind a little bit, it's that same group who all of a sudden is becoming trans in waves, right? It's a fad. It's something.
You mean the age group?
It's that same. It's that same group that's experimenting, and I wasn't born I was born in the wrong body. It's like, okay, so it's almost like the flavor of the week. And so I just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really struggle with a 22-year-old because of a really horrible decision. And I love that ABC commentator who had to step everything back, who was like, their text thread is I don't even remember how he said it.
Oh, he said it was
Endearing or something.
Yeah,
it was like,
Oh yeah, dude.
like no,
He said it to where you knew they were like a couple. It was very like loving, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, I don't know.
It's that one's, oh god, that one's a hard, that's hard for me. I 100% see your point. But then if I come out and say, but decisions have consequences, and I know we all agree they do. But then, just like you said, we're no better than him. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one to think about.
and but that's just reality.
I know.
The Bible says if you call your brother a fool, you're guilty of murder. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a brother, so I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm living great. I don't have a brother to call a fool, so I'm great. But Jared, you're in trouble. So, because you have a brother. So I don't have a brother.
I missed that part.
Yeah.
Somebody was commenting over
you're
here.
good.
Stray Kitten was, and I guess she said something and said, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Is that a new commenter?
Yeah, she came over. She watches most of my live streams.
Oh, sweet.
So I mentioned this one yesterday, and she came over. I don't know. Is this the first time that you've been on this one, Stray Kitten? I've had quite a few new folks come over to my channel.
I don't know. I get things wrong a lot because I call.
I was just getting ready to say.
I mix gingers up evidently.
It's okay, Ben. It's okay. I was just getting ready to say. It's
Yeah, because
sorry.
B Davis, when B Davis comes on,
Yeah.
I'm not guessing anybody's gender anymore.
you can't tell from
Somebody named Carl.
Yeah.
That could be a woman.
I make an assumption is really all I do.
It's to you, Ben. It's Stray Kitten. Don't call me Stray Kitten. It's Stray Kitten.
Well, you want to go to the headline here? I know.
Yeah,
we got some-
this is what it's all about.
Yeah. So this one here, everybody probably saw this, but the speech that she delivered, and I guess this is going to be the point of conversation for tonight, but she said some of the I guess most impactful quotes from this. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry, says Erika Trump. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband Bill will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. And she, I felt like for the, for the circumstances she was put in, she handled that very well, considering what had happened, recently thereafter.
Oh yeah.
But there are now several reports that I've read that are talking about Charlie Kirk's social media accounts with showing massive growth after his assassination. And it's people that are engaging in his type of content. And for those folks that you can watch it on my channel as well, but I debunked a lot of the things going on around it. In particular, the guy in the white hat that was behind Charlie Kirk. That was, it was Frank Turek, and he's an apologist. And he did a lengthy. One of you guys sent it to me.
I think I sent it. Over to you. He did a lengthy.
Was it describing them on the way to the hospital?
All of
Shoot, buddy. Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
But you know what? Jesus was all over that mess.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's so good. It was rough, but it was so good. And you just sit back and realize, if for nothing else, this makes you as a God-fearing Christian man how to live well and how to die well.
Yeah. It hit something in my soul listening, and it was listening to Frank Turk. I've always listened to Charlie Kirk, and I've admired the fact that he's been able to speak about politics, which we were talking about this pre-show, speaking about politics, but always injecting your faith and always injecting Christ into that conversation, because it is so important. If you don't have that, there's some apologists and some debaters online that kind of have this conversation, this whole separation of church and state, and in church we're not going to talk politics. And the fact remains that politics has become culture. Culture is where the divisions in society are happening, and where everybody needs to, in the political world, develop some sort of a worldview. And where do you derive that worldview? For Christians, we derive it from the Bible, from the life of Christ, and that's what sets the framework for everything. It's the same thing that our founding fathers used, and it lets us see the political opposition, and it gives a target audience for conversion, for preaching the gospel. And that's what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was going out into the culture, debating politics, because that is the culture. And in a world where everybody hated him, he was approaching them at their level and injecting the word of God into them. And I would say, for somebody who wants to have a massive impact like him, it was probably really hard to not always see the end result, because there's thousands of people watching. And when there's thousands of people watching, you don't know who heard something you said, walked away, went and picked up a Bible and started reading it. Or who got into a church, went to a church, attended a Sunday school class, did something.
You never see the fruits of your labor.
Right.
But then there's this. Do you have the montage of the results of Charlie's shooting, and the guy who was talking about, I think I sent it to both of you. The guy who was talking about, he started having pulling up snippets.
Yeah, I do have that one.
And they go fast. I don't know if there's a way to slow everything down.
No, I could probably download it,
but
let me see if I can download it.
This is an unbelievable thing, and we said it last week. What the enemy intends for harm, God uses for his good and his glory. And these are posts from people. Haven't read a Bible in 30 years. I picked mine up today. I went out and bought a Bible for the first time. People are at a place where they're searching because something has got, it just...
Yep. I guess this one person went to church and they said, I'm here, haven't been here before, but Charlie Kirk brought me here.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeez.
Yeah, there you go. It's not letting me.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but yeah, if there's a way to pull this up, this is such a great video, powerful video.
Out of all the really heavy videos that I've seen this week, this one is by far my favorite.
All these people are talking. It's hard to see on the screen, I'm sure.
Very hard. They're flashing so quick.
Yeah, but you're on your cell phone.
They get through it just keeps going and going and going. And these are people who are talking about finding Jesus or coming to a place where it's, this is the ripple effect.
Well, this is the effect of the Holy Spirit. What am I trying to say? Just speaking to these people.
Yes.
I mean, that's all. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, this video.
Nothing else could do this.
It's still going.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's where most people find Jesus. I won't say most. A lot of people. I don't know. Would you say most find it in like the darkest time because you got nothing else?
Yeah.
Look,
It's like, I have nothing else. I have no other, or a tragedy strikes or something terrible happens.
Yep.
Jesus being crucified.
Yeah.
It starts a movement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I was even laying there with my son last night. We were talking about this, he was talking about the military. He wants to go in the military, and we're all for it, man. I love it. I think it's great that that's his young little heart's, vision, but he wants to go in and he wants to be used. It's either in the military or being in ministry, Dad. I'm not sure which. I'm like, well, they're the same. I mean, really, it's, they're not, but do both wherever you go, and
Both are war.
yeah. And he's reading a book right now where it talked about the breaking down. The guy talked about the emotional, what do they call it? It's like mental training or whatever that they put you through in the military where they break you. Mm-hmm. They break you down. Mm-hmm. This is their first thing. And Jesse's like, what does that mean, Dad? I'm like, well, buddy, you are way too young to see the movie Full Metal Jacket, but it's a great example of somebody getting to a place where they're so broken because everything they do is wrong and they're yelled at all the time. And they're, I said, but it's part of the programming where their goal is to take you as an 18-year-old full of yourself, full of pride, full of all of these things, and mold you into what they want you to be. And in order to do that, they've got to get rid of your pride. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing they got to get rid of because,
They don't do as good of a job. The Marines still do. But
Show them a video of
Army doesn't.
Navy SEAL and when they're on the beach, that training.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
yeah, they're just breaking them.
Yeah.
That
Right. So, but I'm explaining this to him because I said, pride is really the worst. It is the worst thing that we can have. Mm-hmm. It's the worst thing that we can have. I mean, for them to call it, Pride Month is like,
It's what the whole movement is about. It's
so
about
bad.
self. It's
so bad.
I keep saying it, and I'm going to say it again. It's the religion of self.
And
Oh, yeah.
and
So
so
it
I've going into this, I told him like, listen, here's the thing. When the reason pride is so bad is because when you're proud of yourself and what you've accomplished and what you can do, what is the one thing that you no longer need? And it was like my 11-year-old, Jesus. I'm like, right. This is why it's so dangerous. And we're in a world full of pride. So God doesn't matter. I matter, right? It's my wants, my needs. Look what I've accomplished. And what God does is says, no, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make you uncomfortable because, and this is why when people talk about like, well, God did this or God did that. It's horrible. It's like, no, it's not horrible. If it brings you back to him,
Oh yeah.
it's not horrible because
It's horrible in our human experience.
Sure.
But it's you have to have the forethought and you have to have the eternal mindset.
right. You've got to zoom out.
Yep.
So we feel the suffer, the pain, the loss, all that here on earth. But you have to have an eternal mindset.
Our flesh hates it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when, our flesh hates it and our flesh is like a blade of grass in a giant field, right? Like it's that much of what is really here. And so, I was explaining that to him, how God has, God will rip that out of people. And for this, Charlie Kirk's death was for a lot of people that moment of,
Oh, what am I doing?
yeah, you're lost this weekend.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we talked.
We never finished, but the whole point of it
I
was
used to get so upset. And it's maturity, a lot of it, but I used to get so upset with like losses with UT football. Like for the whole week before we played again, I would just like I didn't want to watch anything football, nothing, because I was just so angry. And like looking back, and now I get upset, but it's so short lived. Like so flipping short-lived. Like the walk back to the car, I'm okay. Like it's because it doesn't matter. Like you've gotta keep your eyes on what matters, and stuff like this just doesn't. If you throw all your chips in on sports, for instance, that's going to be gone at some point. Like there is
Yeah.
there's nothing of substance to it. It's just enjoyment here on earth. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, I think we talked about this, and maybe some of our listeners would want to chime in, but doesn't the world just feel kind of meh right now?
Yes.
Like, are you getting your hopes up for anything? Meh. Oh, that's really awful. Meh. Like nothing. It's like there's almost this pendulum shift into what used to matter. Not whatever.
It has been, and we've talked about this, and my wife feels the same way. There is a feeling that is going away slowly, but that has stuck with me ever since this happened. And it's just this feeling in my chest that, and I just think it's because we saw somebody. We're mourning for one of our own.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I've seen nothing has affected me as far as like deaths and stuff to people necessarily. Nothing's really affected me like this. This has been completely different.
And what's crazy is I didn't know him.
No, exactly.
Like,
No.
and he's not Jesus. He's not,
No.
no. So it's like, and I do want to touch on that just for a minute because Charlie Kirk wasn't Christ.
No.
And there are people in churches and elsewhere that have put him on a pedestal that he
buddy.
does not deserve. He was human,
Yep.
right?
How? Explain putting him on a pedestal. Like
It's almost borderline
Worship.
Charlie worship.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll just use this as an example. Like if your pastor said nothing about Charlie Kirk this weekend or nothing about what happened over the week.
Tristan said that happened.
Yeah, that's sad, right? The pastor didn't say anything about it. If the pastor said only things about it and not Jesus, that's just as bad. Like there's got to be the balance, right?
Yeah.
And there are people that are saying Charlie Kirk was a martyr. Okay. I don't know that I fully agree with that because to be a martyr, you have to die for the cause of Christ. Now, did he die as a Christian? Yes.
I think he did.
You think he did?
So based on what I've heard from Mark Driscoll, B Frank Turek, what he was constantly trying to inject in everything that he did
Oh, but that doesn't matter.
was spreading the word of God.
That doesn't
So it's-
matter. If I kill you because you break into my house and you've been spreading the word of God, I killed you because you broke into my house.
Right, but the opposition to him was the antithesis of spreading the word of God.
I'm tracking with you. I don't disagree with you.
Right.
However, this guy's motivation, until we're clear on it, people are talking sainthood. It's like, okay, relax. He was a believer in Christ.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I'm going to say this for everybody to hear. He was doing what you and I should be doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's nothing different about him than anybody who's accepted Christ.
He was just doing it.
He was just somebody that was actually doing it. And that's important. That's a fact that we should all really swallow and go, man, that's bitter. But it's truth. And maybe that's why everything is meh. Because for men, you sit back and look at somebody like Charlie Kirk, who's 31, radically giving him his life to try to convince people and to share the gospel of Jesus. And we're sitting back on Saturday watching Tennessee play.
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? And
No, I get that.
And I think it's starting to stir this thing in people. Jared, you just had the headline up. Like, we're seeing record numbers coming back to church because of this. And I think it's not just us. I think it's just people in general are going like, wow, what am I doing?
I do think he is, in my opinion, I'm on the side of more of a martyr than not. When you think about, like, I don't mean to have there be like levels of martyrdom, on this, but like Stephen in the Bible was obviously stoned to death for this. Now, as he was passing, he asked the Lord to forgive them, but I'm more on that side just because of what he talked about.
So based on the typical criteria, my understanding is the typical criteria for sainthood, he falls within it. Now that could be
is sainthood. Sorry, I should know more.
Martyr is there's levels to, I don't understand all the levels to it. I've listened to a couple people try to explain it, and I don't quite get it. But nonetheless, as a martyr, yeah, I mean, I think he would be, and that's the thing. It's where it gets tricky. Was he evangelizing or was he talking politics? And if you ask the people who he was writing books with and doing studies
he was
with,
evangelizing.
That was the whole reason he was going there, was to be an evangelist.
Yes,
and
he was evangelizing.
Yeah,
undoubtedly, that was his mission.
Yeah,
I guess where I'm coming from is, did they kill him because of his beliefs in Christ, or did they kill him because of like they don't agree with his political stance?
But his political stances were driven by his belief in Christ.
Yeah. So do you understand where it's like, that's a slippery slope, because it's not Christ specific, it's political, which is fantastic because it leads us into the next place of everything Christ was and is political.
Oh yeah, you've said so many times. Do you think when people have said, "Oh, politics shouldn't be in the church,"
True, buddy.
You've said, "Do you think Jesus didn't talk about politics?" I mean,
yeah. I mean, he stood it on ear.
I listened to, who was it? It was oh my gosh, I think it. Again, I hate to keep quoting the same guy, but I heard him today. He said that the people that don't want to talk politics in church make him furious, because if you don't make the church address the culture and politics, then politics will infect the church.
Absolutely.
And the culture of
and that's what we've seen.
Right. So you have to, because this is all what this is doing. This is my goal for my channel, and for this channel, obviously, because we're talking much deeper in scripture and how faith impacts life and politics than we'd even do on my channel. But it's you got to inform people so that they know what to drive out and what to hold back, what to stave off, what's coming after them. Because you're not sitting in your home. You're not, when you're out living life, you're on social media. Think of it as, this is your castle, right? This is your literal castle. And there are ravenous dragons and beasts and demons and hate and death and destruction that's trying to knock it down.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. Mm-hmm. All the time. If you don't know how to identify that from a fig tree or that from a little koala bear, then how are you going to know what you're fighting off? So you have to understand what's going on in the world, and you have to understand what motivates those people and how deceptive it can be.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we've touched on this multiple times on this show, how it's the same demonic beings, just a different skin. Mm-hmm. What we're dealing with today is the same thing that they dealt with back then, right? It's the same spirits. And you know what's hard is when you're a shepherd, for example, and pastors, I'm gonna read something that our friend Scott wrote, which I thought was very good. But if you're a pastor, you're called to be a shepherd, and Dr. Briscoe and I were talking about this today. You're called to be a shepherd. Now, there's a time for you to correct and use the rod for correction and all that stuff. But as a shepherd, you also have to go to battle. You also have to kill the bear and the lion. You also have to recognize the threat and neutralize the threat before your flock gets hurt. And here's where we failed. Because the threat is political, we don't address it. If you're in the pulpit, you don't want to address it. You don't want to get political. You don't want to run people off. And my message to you is, you don't have those people anyway. If you're worried about running people off because of a political message, they're not his to begin with. If that makes sense, they're not in the kingdom. If they're voting for abortion, then there's probably something wrong that they need to repent and turn back, right? If they're voting for things that go against what God's tenets are and God's commands are, then they need to repent. That's not on you. That's on them. You preach the truth. Don't be afraid. And Scott wrote a message for pastors because I love you in the church. In Ezekiel 33, Ezekiel, and I believe this applies to all Christian leaders, is given a warning straight from God. If you see the enemy coming and warn the people you are assigned to watch over, and they don't heed the warning, then whatever happens is on them. But if you see the enemy coming and you don't warn them and they perish, it's on you. And I remember preaching on this, the watchman, sound the alarm, right? You, shepherd, are responsible to warn your flock and to keep them safe. For those of you who do, well done. But for many and for too long, Christian leaders have kept silent when it comes to warning our leaders or leading through controversial topics. You have been cowed. Scott. He's so smart, right?
Like you're
Lulled.
thinking that's probably a word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lulled.
It is. Out into.
You've been lulled into silence when false teachers in the church steal from and lead astray your flock, promising a false gospel of greed, prosperity, and cheap grace. You've stayed silent when huge cultural changes have occurred, leaving your church members to try to figure out how to navigate new cultural morality by themselves. This is truth. We say nothing. You've kept silent while millions of unborn were killed in their mother's womb because you didn't want to cause division or be political. And now, so many of you have refused to even recognize the wicked martyrdom of Charlie Kirk because you've been too busy trying to satisfy both sides as if this is a political issue rather than a moral one. The irony of trying to take the neutral path is that by avoiding calling evil evil, you've picked a side, just not a godly one. You've abdicated your responsibility to warn and lead your sheep. You've been a wicked watchman, and if your people perish, God will hold you accountable. When your sheep aren't led by you, they'll be led by someone else, usually someone we would never want them to be led by, someone angry, someone less godly, someone who will lead them towards idols. For years, we've lamented the biblical ignorance of churchgoers. And while we all need to read the Bible more and better, the fact is what we have really suffered from is a lack of biblical shepherding from our pastors who have allowed attacks to come with no warning and with no help through the battles. We should not be ashamed to call sin sin or evil evil. If you're a pastor who does this and did this week, praise God. It should have been easy this week for all of us, because at the minimum, everyone should be able to say to our hurting, scared, or angry congregations, it's always wrong to murder someone or to rejoice in the suffering of others. We should all be praying for our country, and we should all be praying for our country and for Charlie Kirk's widow and 2 young children, and then teach your flock about forgiveness, fear versus faith, and or anger without sin. There's nothing controversial about that. Be a good watchman. Stop leaving the discipleship of your flock to social media. Shepherd your people. Tell the truth. Warn them of danger.
It's good.
It's brilliant.
Yeah,
There's
really good.
There's a pastor I listen to a lot, Philip Anthony Mitchell. Don't know if you all have seen or heard, but
I'm not familiar with him.
he is. I think they're in Atlanta, and he was given a sermon one time. I forgot what it was, but he said something, and there was a couple people that walked out, and he stopped. He said, "I don't care. I don't care." He said, "I don't care if none of y'all come back next week. I'm going to stand on the word." And he said, "I don't care if I have to preach here with just me." He said, and that's the mindset that pastors should have, but also that's some sort of the mindset that,
That's the mindset every
we
pastor should have.
Yes.
I'm doing this sure to bring people in, but
I'm not doing this for numbers.
Yes. Oh, hello. That's the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big one. Because what we do is we take the message of the gospel and it's not watering it down, but it's presenting it in a way that is like it's like eye candy or whatever. It's like you're just trying to entice, tickle ears, trying to make people feel better, trying to make people, and it's like, well, wait a minute. We're failing. We're failing. And if you're not calling evil evil, and if you're not calling out sin, then you're not speaking in true correction. You're not speaking in discipline. You're not speaking in a way that God goes, That's what they need to know. That's what they need to know. Moses didn't come down and be kind about things, right? From the mountain. He came down and they're building calves. We've got churches all over the place where the congregation is building calves and they're worshiping things that are anything other than Jesus. Some of it's football, some of it's whatever. Some of it might even be Charlie Kirk. Nothing takes the place of Christ, though. And if we're not careful, we can allow things, even great things like Charlie Kirk, to take the place of Jesus. And that's not your God, right? And so you've got to be very careful of how you approach these things, because, you know, if we posted as much about Jesus as we've seen about Charlie Kirk this week, maybe things would be different. Maybe we wouldn't have this argument. But we've gone through now a week of nothing but on your feed, Charlie Kirk, which is great, because Charlie Kirk was a great man.
It is.
But here's the thing. It is because I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Okay.
Because in the past week, a huge tragedy happens.
Absolutely.
Everybody's bringing it up. What is the central theme behind what they're talking about? It's the same. I don't want to say veiled, because it wasn't ever veiled, but the same upfront support of him. Now, there's some evil that comes with that. Anytime something good comes up, a great man like he was,
Yes,
like he still is, because he exists on the internet. I mean, obviously he exists eternally, but he exists on the internet. His message is going to continue. It's going to continue to grow. And what we're seeing a great deal of, which is reaching a lot of people, is his love of Christ, how Christ impacted his life and how he shared it with people. So I don't feel like that the fact that we're seeing a lot of it, some of it is trash. People are the conspiracy theories. We have to sift through all that, because that's just the world of social media.
Yeah.
And you're right. In a perfect world, all anybody would be focused on would be him and his relationship with Christ, and then Christ would be the ultimate message behind that.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, it is ultimately, right? You're focusing on Charlie, who's pointing you to Jesus, which
It's also
fantastic.
Like a caution of, let's not make him the thing that we are worshiping.
He wouldn't want to be the focus.
It's a very
right.
I mean, feel like honestly, in the stuff I've seen, I don't feel like I've seen. I'm sure there's some churches out there. Most of the churches I have seen were either saying, we're not talking about this guy at all because I believe he's a racist or a whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not, Jared, when I say that, I'm not saying there's churches preaching that Charlie Kirk was the Messiah. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
What I am saying is there's churches that I could see saying, live like Charlie Kirk.
Right. Yeah.
You know, or do it like Charlie Kirk, or whatever it is. And it's like, no, do it like Christ, because that's what Charlie Kirk was doing. It's almost like you're just, it's like Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ, right? Which is great. It's because I'm human. I'm going to mess up. You can see how to mess up too, and how to be humble, and how to eat crow, and how to live, right? But when you're like, when every Christian talking point, everything that we do in our little circle of believers is talking about the legacy that this man, who's a great man, is leaving behind, and we're no longer talking about what really matters and what this man was trying to get everybody to talk about. Do you see what I mean? We're missing the mark.
I think I see what you mean.
And I know it's only a short season. I know that this will all wane. I know that it's like, for now, everybody's heart hurt. Everybody's, all the things. But we have to be very careful that we don't take our focus off of Christ and put it on the hate and the love and the, all the differences that Charlie Kirk actually brought out and explored, and was so good at loving people through the Discord, right? I mean, he's a master.
Yeah, he was.
You know who was the ultimate master in that, though?
Sure.
Yeah. Like, you can live your life like him and do the things that he did, and that's great. But all of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And that, like, don't be him. It's a very fine line where you don't.
Well, okay, here's a way to put it. It's like everybody has like your ultimate role model. There's a hierarchy to your role models.
Sure.
At the top, you've got Christ, right?
Yeah.
That should be the peak.
Right
That's
below
what
him,
the-
Michael Jordan.
Or Snoop Dogg.
or Steve.
Or Snoop Dogg.
So,
But then as the people follow, and you get to where we were talking about martyrs and saints and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's who was able to. It's this peak, right? So yeah, you have to look through that person, see what they did, emulate the things that they did well, because you might have, you might like, and I don't keep bringing him up, but you might like Mark Driscoll, you might have liked Ralph Stanley, you might have liked, I'm drawing a blank. Give me another good one.
Any of them.
I mean, any of right. So you've got all these people.
Andy Stanley, like all
right.
just
Or you might like a Ben Shapiro, or if it's a political commentator, you might like a whatever. He's not a Christian, so he's a bad example.
Right.
But you might have a Charlie Kirk or a Steven Crowder. He's a popular one that's out there.
Yep.
And if you see certain things they're doing that you like, that's fine. But you have to look through those people to Christ, see what they did well and how they were trying to emulate him, even though they're falling short just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And identify the things they did wrong. There's things
Yes.
about in a political commentary with Steven Crowder. I don't like the way he does some stuff. He purports to be a Christian. I'm going to take his word at face value. But sometimes it's the language, it's the comparisons and the humor. It's a little too dark and doesn't seem to align with those things.
Sure.
But when he goes to communicate the message,
He gets it.
he gets it, and he can add humor, and he can do those things. That's a cool thing. He's an imperfect person. Charlie Kirk, he had filled his life with people that were, mentoring him, like apologetically, spiritually, all of those things. And he had some amazing people behind him. And behind closed doors, they all say, look, nobody's without sin, but this guy was
He's the real deal.
he's the real deal.
He was
making
who he was.
just a massive effort to live a very pure life, even, And so, but again, look, you have to look past that and say he was following him. And I'm hoping that other people that watch this would say, maybe I'm exploring this.
Yeah. I mean,
Look through this show, look through the Charlie Kirks, look through all the people you're listening to. And if there's not something above it that is Jesus Christ, it's not to say that they don't make valid points sometimes, but they ain't on the right path.
right. That's right. That's exactly right. And I think, you got what, like over 50,000 turning point applications this past week, right?
Oh, yeah. It's,
Like what they had 300 or something ridiculous, right? And it's like, wow, it's exploded and it's great. And the prayer is they take it to the level that Charlie would have wanted it to be taken to, and that is Christ. Not let's just talk about our issues and let's have banter back and forth. Let's go back to Jesus always, right?
Yep.
And so, and I think that's kind of where I'm kind of trying to say is there's so many people that stop at Charlie Kirk and not what drove Charlie Kirk. So
That's a great way to put it.
and that's the danger. He was human. He was sinful. He was all the things, but it was Christ. And so when we go focus on, yes, he's got more followers than ever and all the things. His wife would say the same thing, I'm sure. Like, don't stop at Charlie. Go deeper.
Right. Yeah.
It's Christ. It's all about Christ.
Yep.
And so, I love to see the aftermath, even though it was tragedy that caused this, it created, and we said it last week, this is going to raise lions.
Yeah.
And that's what it's doing.
And a lot of times that's what tragedy does.
Yeah, that's right. So let me ask you this. Do you think we are on the verge of persecution as a church in America?
Well, I think we've been in the midst of persecution.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we've been in the midst of discomfort. We like persecution in
I think it could. Well, of course, it's you answer. It's your question.
No. I mean, you can go for it if you got a thought on it.
My only thought about it is, I think it is shifting this way. I think it has. We've seen it for how many years and now ramped up in China and Africa and all these. It seems to, and now look at Great Britain. Okay,
shoo, buddy.
it is shifting
I found that.
this way. So it is moving to the west. And I fear that I'll just say it. I fear we will have. There'll be more of it because there will be.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
It has to.
there will be.
Yeah.
I feel like the shift has come because the underground church in China is growing incredibly fast.
Oh yeah.
Right.
The church in Africa is growing incredibly fast.
Right.
And they're obviously you're trying to, dig yourself out of essentially like dig yourself out of a grave. There's a lot of dirt above you. There's a lot of stuff pushing you back, and you're kind of gasping for breath because you're surrounded by Islamic countries that do not want you to grow.
That's right.
But it's growing underground. And we're seeing it grow there. In America, we have seen it shrinking for decades because we have taken it out of the church. We've taken it's out of the zeitgeist. Like nobody talks that God has become just a kind of a random term. Oh, thank God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. But it doesn't mean anything.
God's neat. Let's eat.
Right. God's good food. Good,
Never
good
heard
food.
that. Never heard that.
Yeah.
Good food, good meat, good Lord. Let's eat.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
The point I was going to make is, I feel like things like this have started. We've heard people talking about revival going on in spatterings around the country, and this is why a solidified political movement, which was guided in large part by Christian conservatives, even though they were I guess you would call it not the figurehead, but the vessel was somebody like a Donald Trump, who was a wrecking ball, who was not the person that you would expect to be that. And I'm not putting him in any sort of messianic, obviously.
I know.
This is for them. I know I don't mean that. But an unlikely figure was put in front of that, and he took it to the White House.
yeah,
Started to see change, not enough change.
you know what?
They tried.
2,000 years ago, an unlikely figure.
The Bible's full of it. No.
I'm not trying to say
You're not
Trump.
saying Jesus. I was saying the Bible is full of unlikely figures
I
who
know.
did amazing things. You know what I was.
I
what
totally
meant.
know.
Going to put a disclaimer on the.
Yeah. Jeez.
I asked Donald Trump how much he loved me, and he said this much, and he stretched out his arms and died.
Oh my gosh. Oh gracious.
Okay, go on.
Okay, I'm going to go on. So, you completely killed my train of thought. So, no, what I was saying was this unlikely figure. Now, what we're seeing is the breaking apart of that by the fracturing of the conservative Christian movement.
Yeah.
And who is, there's a lot of things being put at the center of that. Israel is definitely one of them.
Yeah, dude.
And it's fracturing the whole movement. So I believe that the ones going in there with their chisels and their hammers, figuratively speaking, in the conservative Christian movement, those are the ones that we have to watch out for, because they're breaking apart something that was great and turning it into, infighting and hate and vitriol.
I mean, a great example which we tackled was Israel.
Yeah,
You
like
said it.
some unlikely, some figures that I thought I would just hardly ever disagree with.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, what are y'all doing? Like,
I mean, I remember saying Candace Owens will be a
Oh,
great
my gosh.
VP candidate, and now I'm like, no, Candace Owens belongs without a microphone.
Yeah.
and I love Tucker Carlson. I
I
always
did
have.
too.
However,
Yeah, just off the rails. It's like, okay,
Well, and people that, when you're part of I guess you'd call it a rudderless ship or whatever, people latch on to whatever happens to be floating by, and that's where you get to somebody like a Nick Fuentes. So if you're floating out there and you think, oh, I've got this, I've got that. Well, this guy's speaking a lot of the things that my heart, not guided by God, but that my humanity is telling me, I think I believe because of what the algorithm has fed me. I'm going to latch on to that guy. And what does he do? He's pulling it apart from this way. And then Candace Owens in her way is pulling it apart from this way. Ian Carroll's pulling it apart from this way. Tucker Carlson's pulling it apart from this way. And they sow these little divisions. And, Dave Smith is part of that sometimes, but he's at least a little, while he's not a fan of Israel, he's at least saying, if I get evidence, fine. But some of this stuff just seems too wacky. But they don't care because they're consumed, I believe, by the money, by the clicks, by the attention, by just whatever is eaten away inside of them or whatever influence is in their life. Not to say, because I don't want to get into at 6 minutes after 10 a conversation about Israel, because that could go for another
we
2
could,
hours.
though. We could.
But there's these people that are getting the most views are not the discerning minds in that whole conflict. They're not the discerning minds. They latch onto anything immediately after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Ian Carroll comes out and makes a video. It was the Jews.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Candace
saw.
Owens.
Yep.
Candace Owens.
Candace
comes out and
Owens.
says, it's the Jews.
Same thing.
And it's like, look, are they? They're obviously a fallen people, but the nation itself,
Yeah.
and they're little corrupt intel agency.
It's the most insane thing you've ever.
It
You are
is.
a week in, not even a week in. You were days in, and they were saying, "I know this," and it's like,
Yeah. It's like any tragedy. It's like, oh, it's the Jews. But like with Candace Owens, she came out with this video, and I just get the sense that when you said wanting clicks and wanting attention, that this is what this was about. Because she came out and she was talking, she came out and like she was so like serious and like, we're talking about the replacement. There will never be a replacement for Charlie Kirk. And she said, and if it's so-and-so who, she didn't say a name, but if it's anybody basically that she doesn't like necessarily approve of, that she said over my dead body, which I'm sure could be arranged. I'm like, okay, let's tone down the, why are we being so, I had the word right before I was going to talk about this. Why are we being so dramatic about, like, stop? Because all you're wanting, it seems, are views and clicks on this. Like, why be so dramatic and say, which I'm sure could be right? Like, what are you even saying?
well, she came out and made the comments of Bill Ackman and all these allegations, which he's come out and said this isn't true. Charlie Kirk's producer came out and said this isn't true. I was with Charlie the entire time, except for in his hotel room. Like we were together. None of this is accurate. It's completely false. This is garbage, and she runs with it anyways.
Yeah,
She can't help herself. And who is she to say? She helped. She said I was one of the Masons of Turning Point USA.
yes,
And of course, people jumped up. The conspiracy theories jumped on it and said, "Is she saying Freemason?" That sort of thing.
Yes,
But she was saying I was one of the ones that helped build it. And she, in the early years, 5, 6, 7 years ago, was huge. They were doing events together and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And but she was also close to Ben Shapiro, and
That's right.
she hopped on the coattails of these people as a muckraker, and Charlie Kirk was kind enough to welcome her into the fold and let her do her thing, even though they probably disagreed on a lot of stuff. It was like, yeah, we'll come up. That was his whole MO. She used him. She used the Daily Wire. She built herself on this monstrous platform. And
because they fired her Ben fired
right,
her,
right. And she hasn't been a part of that. I was listening to, I forget the guy's name. He works for Newsmax now, I believe. And he used to work for Fox. He no longer has a show on Fox. And he said, look, she hasn't been around that organization in years. Like, they've probably communicated, like, who knows?
Yeah.
But
happy
they weren't-
birthday.
Yeah. Like,
Yes,
You know what I mean?
she
It's like,
wasn't involved with in that stuff at all.
but you know how it is.
Because she's political, like, she's poison.
Well, and you know how it is.
Sorry,
It's
but
like
she
I was,
is.
I was the last person to talk to him. There are those people that have to be involved, that have to have and I see her as that kind of person. She's got to have her nose everywhere it doesn't belong. And
It is so weird, man.
she's got to be one of those, like I'm involved, Charlie and I was one of the last people that he saw before he passed away.
Did she say that?
No,
Oh, okay.
she didn't. But you know the people. When you lost somebody in high school, you had 4 girls that were like, and he said he was going to come over tonight.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't like you. I know that. But you know what I'm saying? They're always those, like, they glom on. It's almost like sympathetic attention.
They have to be part
Let's call
of
it
the
yeah.
story.
Yeah, I'm going to insert myself here
Yes.
because I'm so distraught over this, but I was really important to him.
She's fixated. She's a shock jock. That's kind of her thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. And this was a point that the same guy, and I wish I could remember his name.
Yeah.
He said she literally spent, let's see, what does it say? You have her number spot on. Thanks, Miss Gutierrez. Yeah, and so she spent an entire year trying to find out if Brigitte Macron
Yes, I knew you were going to
Was
say
gay or it was a man.
had a he said
Yeah.
had a penis.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That
dude,
was-
like she, like
that was
she, that, and after like, and okay, could at first glance, could did I think the same thing? Absolutely, but like she stayed on it. She spent so much energy on this
and money.
Yes,
Probably spent hundreds of thousands. if not,
yes,
I'm sure.
seven figures.
Yep.
For something that she's going to get sued for it.
yes.
And
Yeah.
could it be true? Maybe. But look, she was trying to prove the greater dilemma, which is all these people are like perverts, basically, is what she was trying to say. Okay, got it. Is that what you want to hit is that the one you're going to hit your wagon to?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I feel like it's almost like you're void of content. Like, like really, is this what we're going to be talking about for the next 3 weeks? Like,
Yeah.
and it's been that way for months, maybe even longer. But I still have her, and listen, I pray for her and her family. Like I know that at one time she knew, and I don't know where she got her wires crossed. I don't know what has got into her heart and
Well,
into her spirit.
you know my thinking. I've said it a few times.
Something probably to do with Catholicism or
That's the only thing that's changed.
That's it.
and
her husband that she knew after 2 weeks and then converted to Catholicism. And then
So,
all
I
of a
mean,
sudden
it's-
everything changed.
yeah, but
That's not to say it's Catholicism
No,
that did it. It's just
no.
saying that whatever radical version
yeah, this is the new her.
Yes.
And I just pray that she comes back because she's a powerful voice. She's a powerful voice. She's intelligent. She's all the things. But it's like you sit back and go, honey, you've lost it, and you've lost me.
Oh yeah.
I used to follow. I was a fan. I wanted you. I thought you should be the VP candidate.
Absolutely.
Crying out loud, I believed in you that much,
I
and
said,
you
I said
turned.
press secretary at one point.
Oh
Yeah, you
gosh.
turned so far, so fast.
Knowing
and
how
so-
she was back then, she would have been phenomenal.
Oh, I wouldn't.
She was.
I wouldn't want to debate her. I wouldn't want to be in a room with her.
No, actually, what I have learned is people should want to debate her.
Okay.
I think that she was very selective with who she put herself in front of,
Yeah, I can see
and
that.
gave her an advantage.
Yeah.
And I never saw her have a difficult one. She never sat in front of an actual difficult debate with an intellectual person. Most of what I saw was her in front of college kids, and the arguments she was making
Yeah.
were so simplistic. Charlie Kirk did it, and he went deep when he would talk to them.
Oh, yeah.
And he would give you something deep to think about. And he also did it from a different heart,
Totally different heart.
not an attack dog.
Not a.
His
I'm going
was-
to prove you wrong, dog.
Right.
He was trying to get them to.
right.
You've got to see this for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
it was those. It's two. So I didn't want people to think that because I said college kids, that doesn't mean it's a tough debate. Because
Right, because some college kids are not.
right. But at the same time,
Right, they're smart. They're
she did it as gotcha.
yeah. That's
all.
right.
That was her whole thing. Was let me get you, and I'm gonna anyway. She's not as bright as everybody made her out to be. She made some connections, and she's seemingly burned a lot of those connections because even the stuff she's saying, what I've heard this, I've heard that. Everybody's kind of like, I don't know who you heard that
Yeah,
from.
where are you hearing
Didn't hear
that?
it from us, and it's not true.
Right,
So she's to the point of making things up.
right, and that's sad, but
It is.
it happens to the best of them. Hey, apparently, I did just send you the Tim Pool Instagram. I know you've probably played this and seen it, where they talk about conservatives should be afraid.
Oh, this is Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay, Destiny is, by the way, now crying, boo-hooing because he got kicked
Oh,
off
yes.
of Twitch.
Yes. Yes.
Too bad.
And that's the only place he's got left.
Destiny's
He is.
nuts,
I'm going to preface this, everybody, with the most. I will just say he's one of the most vile.
He's vulgar.
commentators
He's
out
terrible.
there on the internet. Oh goodness, I'm going to have to refresh.
It's he's a shock commentator. I think it's like, I think he just takes the. I don't even know. I don't know where people get this kind of mindset. It's got to be fake.
No, He believes this to his depths of his core.
Wow.
Yeah, it's video games and Adderall that he's just hopped up on it all the time.
Somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk. Would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
I'm a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning down the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot?
Why would you expect anybody, Destiny?
You can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why can't Trump go on TV and say, all of us should be less violent?
Why do you
can't
think
Trump say that?
Why do you
Why
think
is your behavior contingent on Donald Trump?
Insane right now.
Why do you think? No, let me
behavior
ask you a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me ask you a
Because
question.
he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the opposing political party.
Destiny. Let me
You
just.
have a huge audience of young men who
I'm a
listen to
YouTuber
everything you have to
who
say.
has more
So
young
when
men
you,
following
it
him.
doesn't
Who
matter.
has
You have a
more young-
huge
it doesn't
audience,
matter.
and because
This
of
is
the
the
fact that
world
you have a
I'm
huge
living in,
audience,
and
you
your
have
brain
a
has been
responsibility
broken by
to
online
not
rhetoric.
turn. No,
And
it
your
hasn't.
brain
It
has
hasn't
been
been broken.
destroyed
I actually care
because
about the
people
country
bully you on
and want to bring
Twitter.
people together.
If
You
then
do the
you should tell
opposite.
Donald
You
Trump to tell
represent the
people
worst
to
of us,
be
Destiny.
less-
Shout the crime statistics? Not exactly like.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature.
If he turns.
Good grief. Here's the thing. This is a point. I haven't made it on my show yet, but so this is, I think, and I think this is a good point.
Continued freedom.
Right. Continue freedom. There you go. Shout out.
Yeah.
The reason he said when Anna Kasparian, who is a left-wing person, by the way, but is starting to become more and more common sense. So kudos to her for that. And she's sitting down with some conservatives and talking. But anyway, Destiny says, when she said, why is your behavior contingent on the president of the United States? And he said, because he's the president of the United States. That's when you know you were captured by politics. You were captured by fascism or whatever you want, authoritarianism, whatever you want to call it. I can't change my opinion until the leader says that I can change my opinion.
Hello.
And until then, I'm going to oppose this stuff and say that all these people should fear death because this guy hasn't said otherwise. That is the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my life.
I think what he was trying to say, which was which he was doing a horrible job of, was why won't the leader say turn it down? Right?
That is the point that he's trying to
But
make.
it came out exactly like you're saying. I'm listening to it like, why does it matter to you?
But I've heard him make this argument before, so I don't think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
I think it is the president needs to change the way he's saying things, even though he's not calling for violence and he's not saying that people should be taken out in the streets.
Right.
And the left is.
Right.
I want him to acquiesce. And until then, I want the fear of my party, Antifa, BLM, the thugs in the street, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I want the people to feel that fear to make him say what I want him to say.
Yeah.
That's all he wants. That's using political force against your opposition, and that is evil. And we could talk. This guy's got quite a reputation, by the way.
I do think, you look at that rhetoric, right? And he's got millions of followers. Maybe not anymore, but he did. And you look at that rhetoric and realize that's what these kids are listening to.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a 22-year-old follow through on it, which is tragic and it's wrong. People are talking about blaming the parents, but really where's the, like, let's go back through his browsing history. Yeah. Let's go back through what he was listening to, what he was watching. Let's go back to the sources that have infiltrated his mind, that's made him think that this is an acceptable thing to do, or that this is not even acceptable. He knew it was wrong. He knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
But he did it anyway because in his mind it was justified.
Right, because of the stuff he had been fed.
What was so bad? What was so bad that you're justified in doing this? Other than the fact that Charlie Kirk is trying to say, "Hey, furry, you're not a furry," and I really hope that God gets a hold of you and you can walk in your true identity as a young man or a young woman, right? Like, but what's so egregious? What's so wrong?
That it violates their God of self. that they worship, that's worshiping yourself. And it's no different than I mean, granted, I say no different, but they treat it the same way somebody who says, you know, you're attacking the name of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And we say, that's a terrible thing to do. I'm going to highly recommend against that, but we don't get violent because we have the law of God or we have God's command on how we're supposed to conduct our lives.
Yeah, written on our heart.
Right. When it's God of self, I'm the one making the rules. I make my own left and right limits. So I'm able to do whatever I have to do to preserve my God. And that is violence.
And the left's big talking point right now, I've figured out. If you all listen to Scott Jennings, I love Scott Jennings on is it CNN that he's on?
Yeah, when he goes back and forth with them, he's
so good, man. But he their favorite argument now is, well, what about the two people in Congress in Minnesota? I think it was Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
Okay.
They keep going back to the one time.
And yeah, sure. Okay, that's terrible too. Absolutely. But it wasn't a conservative that did that, A. B, I loved what he said. What he said back to this. He's like, did you all hear at all, or no, I'm sorry. This is Greg Gutfeld, so squash that. Scott Jennings is still awesome. Anyway, Greg said on the 5, the difference is, did you know who they were before that happened? No. Because we knew who Charlie was because of all of the stuff that was said about him, that he was this, that he was that, the stuff that gets people riled up and decides, oh, I'm going to make the world a better place and do this to them. He said, we didn't know these Congress people before because they weren't painted as something else. Like, that's the difference. So it's really not a good comparison.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
They were, but they weren't public figures.
Right.
They
Yes.
were political figures.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they weren't public political figures. They were just going about their business, doing
Right.
their job. And there were some things going on there. If you go back and watch and research, that you kind of sit back and go, "Wait a minute." There were some things that were not copacetic. I'm not talking about with them particular,
Right.
but with the person, the shooter.
Yeah.
That you sit back and go, "There's something."
Same thing with the Paul Pelosi thing.
Totally.
Same exact
same thing. You mean to tell me? Yeah, come on. I mean, yeah, did y'all forget about the Paul Pelosi thing? I didn't.
No.
No.
I mean, that's just
They like to bring that up too, and it's like
I might steer
I don't
clear
know.
of that one.
Well, yeah.
I might steer clear of that one.
So one thing I'm going to bring up, and then Mrs. Gutierrez, I'm going to read your comment because she makes a really good point. But there is a study that you'll see it in mainstream media. You'll see it with the pundits, and they say, well, there's been more conservative or right wing violence than there has been left wing violence over the years. And they say this because it's been posted a study. It was the CSIS. I actually went back and looked at this when I heard somebody mention it. I thought, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. And so it's the CSIS. Study, which is the Center for, and I've got to remember what it is, something in international studies, but they took, I think it was about a decade or maybe 2 decades. They looked at the crime rates and things like mass shootings and significant criminal events and traced the origins of those. And they lumped it into left wing versus right wing, which is they considered fascist or, racist, that sort of thing. If it was race-based crime, that sort of deal. And they found that there were 66, it was from 2015 to May of 2020, out of a total of 66, that was from left wing, and then there was like 256. What's interesting is they went to May 2020, and then they stopped in May of 2020. And what happens in June of 2020? All the cities around the country were burning down.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that, by the way, right wing, which is fascist, there are people that are left wing fascist because it's authoritarian, right? It's anarchists, they'll consider that, that sort of thing. And there's some weird, listen to these college kids on campus. Well, I'm an anarcho-communist. I'm everybody's got their own term.
Furry.
Right. And so it's all also self-identified. So if the police chose to put that into the police report, so it was skewed from the get-go.
Hello.
And it says that it's a nonpartisan study. Well, they went back and added in the riots from 2020, apparently because everybody was clamoring about it. And do you know how many how many events from the summer of 2020 that there were.
That's the summer of peace and love.
Yeah, the summer of love, that when all the cities were burning down.
Yeah.
There were 10,600 events. Do you know how many of them they counted as political violence? 25.
Oh, come on.
10,006. So they said, even with that, it's still not okay. They said most of it was crimes of opportunity, the looting and all that stuff. So only 25 people of the $2 billion worth of damage, the 25 people that were killed, only 25 incidents equated to political violence. It keeps those numbers nice and low because it would have dwarfed everything that had happened in 2 decades by that one summer. And they said, well, we can't have that.
See, that's the thing. When people when people on the left, and I hate to make this generalization, but judging, I just go by history. When they say a recent study or a recent poll shows, I don't believe it. I don't believe the poll or the study.
We're at that place.
Because the numbers just aren't going to be right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think, I was talking to somebody I love dearly about it. Like, if you hear a report, go do your own homework.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee no matter what it is, you're going to find 15 other things that say that's not true.
Yeah.
And then we're stuck in the middle going like, well, I guess just don't release anything anymore.
Well, this is a good thing about Grok.
Yeah.
Is it gives you
Yes.
sources and you
Yes.
say, these are all, like you gave me Washington Post and New York Times. Give me conservative outlets.
Yep.
And what are they saying about it? Well, the conservatives, and it still tries to twist it.
Yep.
But when you get the conservative points of view, you're like, you little liar, Grok.
I love on the
but
5.
Thank you for giving me the.
When Jessica Tarloff says, because Greg just completely tears her arguments up, but like on the 5, when she's saying something, she's like, oh, well, the Washington Post said, he was like, oh gosh, I guess that's the only thing that is correct in media is a Washington Post. I love how just facetious he is, dude, about, oh my gosh. I don't know how she makes it on that show. I have no idea.
I want to get to some of these comments if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah, it's great.
So let's see. Over here on YouTube, Stray Kitten says this is back a bit in our conversation talking about Charlie. She said he never raised his voice at his wife. Doesn't that make him a saint?
More than a saint.
More than a saint. Oh, gosh.
You know why, Stray Kitten? Because she knows her place.
Oh, wow.
Did I just...
All right. Over here on Rumble, Tristan, I'm going to go on.
Quickly. Yeah.
Over here, she says, this was back again earlier on. She said, of course, she mentioned firing squad for that guy.
Gosh.
She said it wasn't even mentioned at church on Sunday. I think I brought that one up. Says God does the same. We all have trials and tribulations to humble us, which is oh so true.
Boom.
And then asks, won't we all be saints when we die?
Good question.
And then, yeah, I'll let you address that one. And then I've got 4 from Mrs. Gutierrez and another one from Tristan.
Okay. Do you want me to address it now?
Hold that thought. Let's get
Okay.
to the others because I think some of these might be easier.
Yeah. This is a real simple answer. You ready? Mm-hmm. Show me saints in the Bible.
Well, it said in the term saints is mentioned in. Oh, I just read it and I can't remember where it was. The term is in there. The saints will be. Where was it?
But who were they? Who is it? Is it not everybody that lived? So we have,
I can't.
This is a Catholic Church thing.
I'm not the theologian. You're the one who's
sainthood is something the Catholic Church gives people.
right.
So Catholic Church isn't God,
Right.
right?
Right.
When we're all there, we're all saints,
Yes.
which really means that we're all just there. I guess that's a way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Is there a hierarchy in heaven is the question. I think that there is. I think that there is definitely like, you're going to get something different than somebody else. But here's the thing. What does that matter? I'm there.
Yeah.
Like, you might have a bigger garden.
I mean, there's like hierarchy and like angels and stuff like that.
Sure.
So,
but
yeah.
which we're above. We're above. So yeah, when we get there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing. Yeah. Go ahead.
So,
Nick.
okay. Well, it was in Corinthians, Romans, and Ephesians. the term was mentioned, but it was lowercase s, not big S like they use.
Correct.
So, okay. So, Mrs. Gutierrez, y'all, it's our public schools, social media, and mainstream media that is poisoning our kids. Our curriculum is so anti-white, anti-America, and anti-male, it's ridiculous.
Agreed.
I left my teaching career because I couldn't, in good conscience, push our curriculum on these little babies. I still work with students, but I run a program that focuses on literacy and comprehension. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. It's got to be, that's the hardest profession to, if you are a conservative or a Christian and you're a teacher, my hat's off to you.
Gosh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard. It's got to be so hard. So
Yeah, homeschooling is starting to become it's making a huge comeback right now for that very reason. Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. You'll have a whole generation of adults that know how to do things.
Right.
So
They know well, and most of them to meet the standard.
Yeah.
If you listen to Wes Huff, he talked about being, I think it was Wes Huff, he talked about being homeschooled. He said, I was done with my schoolwork by noon.
Bingo.
You know, I didn't need to be there all day.
That's the thing, man. I'm telling you.
It's a huge issue, man.
Yes.
You keep a kid.
Like, why are they in school all day and then come home with homework?
Yeah.
Don't get it. We had this discussion tonight.
First grade homework, dude.
Yep.
I cannot believe what we're doing.
Yep. I've got a second grader. I'm like, what? This is he has been inside except for his 15-minute recesses or whatever, and it's like he comes home and he's got to sit there and do this.
Yeah. No.
I'm sorry, I'm not okay with this.
No.
He'll learn to read.
I've changed my mind with it. I never thought about this until this year. I am completely against homework, at least for, grade school.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm against it.
I never thought about that, but that makes perfect sense.
It does.
You were there all day.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get all the work done.
I'm against it for junior high and high school
Now,
too. Why
if they
are they
choose-
coming home with stuff?
Now, if they goofed off in class and they didn't do their work, absolutely send it home. However,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Tristan said, same. I no longer teach in public education. I teach at residential treatment facility for adolescents. That's cool. And then she and Mrs. Gutierrez made a connection there. She said, good. Cheers, my friend. Good on you, hon.
You guys gonna exchange numbers and meet at Waffle House
Braver than the rest.
Braver than the
Creating
rest.
friends since
For a lifetime.
for
yeah.
life, actually.
And
Yes.
I posted it up on the window, but Stray Kitten said Destiny needs to calm down. And I was like, yeah.
a little bit.
Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. But yeah, it's not Waffle House.
And
You- you
confirmation, by the way, is a female, so you got it right.
need- okay, good. Yeah.
One for one.
They
Or
not
one
Waffle
for
House.
two.
It's time they need to go to Cracker Barrel. If you guys, ladies, are here meeting, go to Cracker Barrel. I mean, they need your
We
help
basically saved Cracker Barrel. Okay,
single-handedly. So
So,
yeah, I do want to close out with this though, because it's 10:30 now. But we've talked a lot about the Lions coming out after this. I sent you guys or Jared a video of the new possible gubernatorial candidate for the great state, my state of Colorado. And this needs to be the Christians, the church's answer to what has just happened. So if you've got that,
I do. Let me pull it up here real quick.
is that what you?
producer Jared, he's so stinking good.
I tell you what,
This guy over there.
we're
look-
literally on a
Kirk's legacy,
Big network.
culture, and politics, celebrated his Christian faith, and they laid the ground. Kirk's legacy in culture and politics
small.
celebrated his Christian faith, and they laid the groundwork for a ministry leader to run for Colorado governor. Memorial service also served as the soft launch for the potential gubernatorial campaign of a ministry leader named Victor Marks.
And I'm telling you, come October 1st, I'm going to let all y'all know
That's the
if
dude
in
right
fact
there.
God is calling me to run and win for governor.
This isn't a red wave or a blue wave. It's a Charlie wave. Born from Charlie's courage and
Kirk's
conviction.
If there was, as soon as he opened his mouth,
Yeah.
I was like, "Yep,
Well, I thought at first I thought it was Rocky.
yes."
Adrian, we'll tell you right now, come October.
What's his name? It was
Victor Marks.
Victor Marks.
Yeah, he's a pastor. I think he's Brave Church, Colorado. And I'll just say, like, you know, here's the thing. You look at what's happening in our politics where, you know, this Ilhan Omar, right, for example, this is a great example, who is going to get pulled from everything that she's involved in.
Actually,
finally,
they voted in the House 214 to 213 to not. 4 Republicans voted with the Democrats.
Are you kidding me? That was tonight. It's today.
This is also him, by the way. I have to play this video. Sorry. This is Victor Marks. He's got the world record for the fastest disarm.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I've seen that.
That was a while back.
I didn't know that was him. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's it's pretty impressive.
That's a pastor for you right there.
So his anyway, there you go. I had to play that one. People need to know who that dude is.
U.S. House rejects removing Ilhan Omar from her committees and censuring her after she justified Charlie Kirk's assassination.
You know what's crazy? One of those 4 Republicans, the only one that I know, Corey Mills from Florida.
What?
That shocked me.
Wow.
Shocks. I cannot believe that.
And the only justification for it, and the only thing that I can think of is free speech. And that's the only thing that I can think of. But when you hold a political office,
dude.
Well, you know what? We all know. Everybody knows.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't belong there. She's not from here. She's married to her brother.
There are so many reasons she doesn't belong in there.
She's just not right. And
She doesn't like America.
No.
Period.
And you know what? It's all right. It's all right. We'll keep towing the line, and nobody's going to listen to her anymore.
Nope.
I mean, if you're winning by one person, you've lost your credibility.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, and you know what's crazy is the Democrats toe the line because they're on a sinking ship and they're just doing everything they can to stay afloat.
Yep.
So they're all voting for her.
Yep.
All of them, whether they like her or not, doesn't matter. She's a Democrat. She's got the D. We're voting.
Yep. That's it.
So,
Bingo.
whatever. They just, man, that's frustrating.
Yes, it is.
There will be no accountability. There's no accountability.
Nope.
And she can't get voted out because she's paying the Somalians to vote for her. So,
Which is the majority, evidently, of the state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. When are you going to wake up, Minnesota? Man alive, that hurts my heart. Well, I do want to, I also think we go out, we did not show the video, the prophetic video.
No, we did not.
Oh, of
Yeah, Kim Clement.
Yep.
It's amazing to me that these things keep popping up, and it's easy for you to listen to a prophetic video and go, well, we can kind of tie that to this. But this one is like, no, this one's pretty spot on.
Yes.
I will tell you, you're gonna hate me for saying this.
Did you tie it to it?
No, the way I see this is so many people have made so many prophecies about so many different things.
Yeah.
That you dig up this one, which is old from 2011, so it was 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's like the guy who predicted I think it was a baseball game, and on his social media, he made, I forget how many posts it was with different predictions.
Okay.
And he left him there. And once the game was won and one of those predictions was correct, he deleted all the others. So everybody said, how did this guy predict this 2 years ago? He must make a fortune on this game. He predicted this game and the score, but he made a whole bunch of them. And that's kind of the way it is, I think, not to minimize it, but that's just how I typically listen to it. It's like it was 11 years ago. This wasn't even a blip on the radar screen.
Yeah.
And
this is the guy, though, and first of all, he does it in front of a bunch of people.
Sure.
Okay. And this is the same guy who said that Trump will be the trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is the trumpet.
He's been right about a lot of stuff.
That's pretty pointed. Okay. So this is what he says. I think it's just a good way to close out because we've talked about Charlie's widow and the message a little bit that she had motivating, killer. You know, she's not Charlie Kirk. She doesn't do this for a living.
Right.
Now, she's brilliant. She's not a stupid woman by any stretch, but she's not the public speaker. She doesn't get up and she has done it, but she's not him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And for her to say and carry herself the way that she did, it was pretty impressive. So this is what he has to say.
Listen to me. As the beginning of the restoration, as it begins, there shall be a woman that shall rise up. A woman that shall be strong in faith, virtuous, beautiful in eyes, and her eyes shall be so beautiful. Her eyes shall be round and big. I have crowned her, says the Lord, as I crowned Esther. And the people shall receive her, for she shall have the oil of gladness for the pain and the mourning that is taking place. And she shall pour out the oil. Is there some oil here, please, Marty? Is there some oil? She shall pour out the oil on this nation. And God says healing shall begin, and then it shall flow rapidly. Schools will be free from potential damage and danger, shootings and murder, drug addiction. Cartels shall be afraid of a woman. A woman anointed by God. A woman set aside. And God says they will say we hated her, but now we love her. For she shall take the oil of healing, and she shall pour it upon the scars of those left and those right, and of the new party that has come forth and emerged, where they shall say Christ will reign, and this we shall not implement at all socialism, where where they have said we will make history without God. No, you will not. No, you will not, says the Lord. For I chose this nation before it was founded. Before anybody came here, I chose this entire nation, all 50 states, every one of them, to send my gospel to the entire earth. Do you think I have changed my mind? Therefore, the healing that is necessary for this nation shall come at a time in the middle of the presidency. There shall be a woman that shall come, and God said there shall be oil that shall be poured upon the nation, and they shall suddenly feel the healing, and they shall say, it is well with my soul, it is well with our soul. For the soul of America has been corrupted, the soul of this nation has been corrupted with bitterness and anger, and God said she shall say, no more bitterness, no more anger, no more division, and shall pour the oil that shall come from the Spirit of the Lord himself. If you as a nation believe it, if you want this, lift your voice and shout one more time and say yes. God says, listen.
That's a bit much for me.
I mean, you can throw darts
Sorry,
if you
man.
want, but that's pretty, to me, I sit back and go, yeah, I mean, he says right and left, and he says there's a third Christian party
yeah,
that's going to say no to socialism. I mean, when have we, it definitely wasn't like that back then. Middle of the presidency.
Yep.
Round eyes. A woman. The only thing, the only thing he left out was like, you know, I don't know, her name.
I will say I will say in my mind, I was like, that's kind of weird when he said big round eyes.
Yeah.
I was like,
big round eyes. I mean, but he's receiving this from the Lord. So I don't know. I've listened to quite a few of his things that have, it's not, here's the thing. This is not a Nostradamus kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is prophetic. And even when, and the funny thing about prophecy, I remember a guy named Chris Valentin who apologized because he said that Trump would be president and be voted in. And he apologized when that vote came back and it was Joe Biden. Said, you know, we got it wrong. No, you didn't get it wrong. You're doing it in your time, not in God's time. And so here we are 4 years later and Trump's elected. So he went and had to eat crow and say, I must have heard wrong from the Holy Spirit. I don't know. And yet here we are.
No, you never hear, no, it's never wrong from the Holy Spirit.
Right. Here we are 4 years later and boom, you know, Trump's president again. And so I do, like you, I listen to prophetic things. I've had people prophesy over me and I've gone, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
And then it happens or it doesn't happen. And there's that, right? But in this case, just like in the case of Trump, I mean, he came out and basically said Trump's going to be the president.
Yeah.
15 years before Trump was the president. And you sit back and go, how?
Yeah. Mrs. Gutierrez says, golly, that was something.
Wasn't that fun?
It was a little too melodramatic for me.
I know the music.
For me to focus, and I'm with you on that one. I feel like when somebody comes out and it's like that, to me, that says you're a performer. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not to judge somebody.
I don't know.
I'm just saying that for God did not create me. Maybe there's work to be done in my head to hear that kind of, I always say saying God with a W. God.
I may say that if
God.
the former things he had not been correct on. I may.
Oh yeah, you're talking about like,
yes.
Well, wow, he's been right all along and so I guess, and here's the thing, it's open for interpretation, obviously, but this should inspire a little bit of hope, if true, because you look at it and go, is this woman going to pour oil? I mean, bringing up the schools, bringing up all this stuff where there can be a healing balm in the land because of this tragedy, and we can see the light of Christ break out everywhere. It's right. Look at what happened in the 60s with the Jesus movement, right?
Yeah. Some commentator today said this is starting to remind him of what that was.
I mean, are we on the verge of round 2 of this revival sweeping the nation where Christ becomes more important? And if so, that's great. But here's what the caution is like. Wasn't the 60s movement also the time of Woodstock where everybody's naked and the time of experimenting with drugs and the time of
Adam and Eve were naked, Jeremy.
This is true. We're going back to our roots, right?
That's right.
In the garden.
But isn't that the case all the time when you see those upticks, those revivals because of this? I think this happened after 9/11, if I remember correctly,
buddy.
And yet there are things that are seeking to pull that back down. So until it actually gets it back into the heart of the nation, it becomes a superficial thing.
Oh, there's going to be stuff to pull it back.
And I don't want to say it's unimportant because it's obviously not, but that's that good and evil fight.
Yeah, but here's also the stark difference there. There's no comparison because 9/11 wasn't about Christ, right? I mean, we had our discussion earlier. Sure. Was he a martyr? And I think he was. I do. But I also go, we'll pump the brakes a little. Because here's the thing. If this wasn't the motive of, are you a believer? I'm going to kill you, right? For being a believer, then you're taking all of the people who are actually being put to death all over the world because of their faith and saying, yeah, I'm just like you, where this was a little different, You weren't lined up in front of a church wall and said, renounce your faith or you're dead.
Yeah.
So that's a martyr to me. That's somebody that's like, I am not going to renounce my faith. I'm done. And I don't know what I would do. I mean, we all say, I ain't renounce my faith. But man, I haven't been put in that position. I don't know. That's a tough one. Or the tough one would be like, I'm going to kill your kids unless you renounce your faith, which these people go through in these countries. So anyway. But yeah, I mean, that's the difference, right? 9/11 wasn't about Christ. This is. And so maybe it will stir something that's different than the coming together of 9/11. Maybe this will stick longer. That we can only hope. We can only hope. Speaking of hope, 10:50, 2 hours of Braver Than the Rest is way too much for me.
We're brave, but
yeah, this is the rest part.
Yes.
It's time for us to rest.
Yes.
We all got big work days tomorrow. So till next week, as always, we always want to close out with just sharing just for a second with you that Jesus is everything you're looking for and then some. Each one of us have given our lives to Christ. He's the reason we do this. And without him, it's just the emptiness. I mean, we feel empty after what we just went through. Could you imagine the emptiness without Christ?
Oh, yeah, the disciples had right after.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like,
But if
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Like, it would just be so empty without Christ.
Yeah.
I have Christ, and I still feel hurt and empty, and I can't imagine what it's like for people without Him. And so, friend, if that's you, the Bible says it's so incredibly simple. Believe. Find somebody who is a Christ follower. Talk to them about their journey. Read the book of John, the Gospel of John. It'll tell you all about what Jesus has done for you. And if you have questions or anything like that, comment. We get back to you in comments. Obviously, we read them on the air, which is fun. And but we would also love to hear from you. You can email us at thebraverthantheRest@gmail.com. Again, thebraverthantheRest@gmail.com. Unless you're home title warranty or car, like we don't want those emails. So don't email me with that. Right? Don't email us with that. Yeah, Jesus is everything.
Yep.
And until next week, when we talk about this approaching comet full of aliens. I read something on it today. That's why.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. Apparently, this thing has like a erector set on it, and it just decided to grow in size. It's like, okay. And it's like it was a NASA thing. It's like, okay. Well, anyway, till next week. Keep your eyes to the skies. Our King is returning. We're braver than the rest.
Hopefully before the aliens show
Hopefully he'll beat him. Yeah.
All right, we ended it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
Night, everybody.
See y'all.